Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Beth Blakehedges. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm serving as your worship associate this morning. I'm joined by our worship leader, Reverend Chris Rothbauer, whose pronouns are they, them, their. We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here for more times than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys, sorrows, and concerns. You are welcome to fill out a Joys and Sorrows slip on the table near the Welcome Center, in the pockets on the back of the chairs, and on the Joys and Sorrows tables right here in front of the lectern. And you are also welcome to light a candle. This can be done at any time before the service or in service from the beginning through the offertory. And now, Bruce.
Okay. Many of you may know, but we're replacing the ugly carpet out in the hall. If you're not sure where the ugly carpet is, you have not walked far enough down the hallway. So anyway, that is going to start tomorrow morning. So this next week, they will be putting in the new carpet, tearing it out, the old, starting tomorrow, and then putting in. And today, we just need a little help in the children's library. We need to kind of pack up all the books. The carpet staff are going to be moving all the heavy furniture and everything, but there's some of the little stuff, the books that are in bookshelves and things like that, that we need to move today so that they can move all the heavy stuff come tomorrow. So after the service today, if you would be interested and able to help us move some of that today, that'd be great. Thank you.
Our call to worship this morning is from Sharon Wiley. You whose hearts are broken, come in. You whom pain has touched and sorrow and shock. You who have cried this week and read the news with sadness. You whom loss has shadowed. You who grieve, come in, come in. You with hearts open to joy and hope, come in. You whom love has touched and friendship and wonder, you who have laughed this week and felt gratitude for life's many blessings, you to whom gifts are given in abundance, you who rejoice, come in, come in. All our hearts are broken and open. All of us here grieve and rejoice. This is our place, this is our hour, to gather and sing and cry and laugh. Come in, let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is from Anastasie Baroche. As we light this flame of hope, may our congregation become a kaleidoscope of souls and people, an abstract flame-like pattern in bright gold colors and a black background. In the presence of this flame, in me, in you, in us, is an invitation to sit at the table. May we tend our soul fire through these challenging and trying times to open the hearts and minds of all who enter our doors. Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 221 in the gray hymnal, Light One Candle. Horizon strives to make a difference in our community by supporting MetroCrest services, and there's lots of ways you can help. Until, I believe, December 17th, Horizon is collecting brand new toys, gift cards, things like sweatshirts for teens, new sweatshirts that is, that they will distribute to their clients. We're also having a coat drive with gently used or new coats, and those can be dropped off in the lobby. So today, I do have a story for all of you, but you know what? A lot of the kids are in the back because some of our amazing RE teachers made dreidels out of marshmallows, and I could not tempt them to come into the sanctuary. Oh, goodness. Oh, so anyway, if you do have other kinds of donations for MetroCrest services, like shelf-stable food items for their pantries or toiletries, please put them in the basket up front after the service. Oh, no, it's okay. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to call anybody up front. I'm just going to talk to you from the pulpit, and that's okay. We love, we are so good at improvising, right? So, yes. So I wanted to talk to you today about fire. And I wanted to know, I'm going to go ahead and light this candle just a moment. So I put the candle out where I hope everyone can see it. And I wanted to ask you if you really have ever watched a candle burn. Doesn't the fire seem alive? Watch it, it moves, it flickers, and when a breeze comes by like it is right now, it dances in the wind. It seems to change with every breath of air. So people have always known that fire is special. No matter what they believe, their religion, people all over the world give fire a special place in their lives and in their religions. And we still do this today. Think of the eternal flame in Washington, D.C., near the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. Of course,
all these holidays, we started with Diwali, and all these holidays also include fire in some way. And of course, we have our own sacred fire with the flaming chalice. And so fire can mean so many things, but I'm just going to concentrate on one thing today. Fire has the lesson I get from fire is one of perseverance or stick-to-itness, meaning you stick with something until it's done. And so the reason is because you can imagine a tiny flame, like a spark of excitement when you start a new adventure. That little flame is like perseverance. It challenges you. It represents the courage to keep going no matter what challenges come your way. And just like a campfire needs a spark to start, we need to make that small decision to begin our journey. It could be deciding to learn a new skill, it could be facing a tough problem, or to be a good friend to someone who really needs it. That first spark is essential, just like when we take the first steps towards something new. And as the fire grows, it needs fuel to keep on burning. And perseverance is like that too. It can draw strength from facing difficulties. Imagine taking challenges as pieces of wood thrown into the fire. So instead of giving up, we use those challenges to learn, to make progress towards our goal, and to keep going. Each obstacle we face can be like fuel for the flame of perseverance inside us. And as I mentioned, fire doesn't always go straight up. It dances and sways. Perseverance is like that too. It takes us on a journey. It accompanies us with the twists and turns in life. Things might not go the way we planned, and so we learn to adapt, just like the flame dances in the wind. It's all part of the adventure. And of course, flame gives us in darkest times, gives us warmth and light, and perseverance can be the same. When we keep going, even when things are tough, we bring a light into our lives and to the light of others. And really, sometimes fires go out, right? Fire shows us it's okay to rest or even stop if something is not working for us. Fire can be extinguished, of course, but the great thing about it is it can always be rekindled when you need it again. So remember the next time you see a flame. Think of it as a friend showing you the way to be brave, to use challenges as fuel, and to dance through the journey with warmth and light. Fire is just not about staying warm. It's a teacher of perseverance, showing us that with a little spark and a lot of courage and stick-to-itness, we can keep our flame burning bright. For any children that are still in the sanctuary, we'll go ahead and sing you out. So thank you so much for listening.
Words by Jessica Lynn. I come on Sunday feeling weary, having worn out the snooze button on my alarm clock. I come on Sunday feeling frightened, having seared my eyes reading the latest news. I come on Sunday feeling burdened, having fretted about my workday worries. But I leave Sunday service feeling refreshed, having been renewed by the spirit of love in the community that exists here. I leave Sunday service feeling whole, feeling lifted up by the words of righteous challenge. I leave Sunday service feeling energized, ready to continue our fight for peace and justice. This haven, this refuge, this place of worship and wonder exists because we make it so. With our contributions, the gifts of our time, our skills, our food, our love, our laughter, and our money. Please join me in giving so that we may continue to have a place that fortifies and challenges us in these trying and troubled times. And thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity. reading When Hanukkah Comes Early by Leah Ongiri. The stories of guerrilla warfare and forbidden learning need witness by small flames that grow in numbers. We marvel at the miracles of oil and bodies and fry potatoes until it smells like the holy day it is. It's the first night of the rest of our lives. We could have assimilated, but instead, we rededicate.
A flame that won't go out is so common, not only in religious symbology, but also in secular life, that it could be said to be an archetypal image, an image representing universal patterns or motifs which come from the collective unconscious. In fact, it comes up so often that it begs the question, what is the underlying meaning? A few examples: the Greek goddess Hecate is known as the eternal flame, able to move around in the darkness without issue. Her fellow Hellenic god, Helios, was also known as the eternal flame, as he wore a crown of fire similar to the crown worn by the Statue of Liberty. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, Zoroastrian priests lit a flame that was moved between various locations until it finally ended up in Yazd, a desert city around 373 miles southeast of Tehran. The flame continues to burn uninterrupted to this day, 1,500 years later. Deep in the Himalayas of Nepal in Jamsun, a flame that has a little help is said to have been burning for thousands of years in one of the most sacred Hindu temples in the world, and it's probably helped along because it's on top of a supply of natural gas. In Japan, at the Buddhist temple Dashoin at Mount Masin Itsukushima, a flame is said to have been burning since 806 ACE for more than 1,200 years. In Kildare in Ireland, a flame was said to have burned for the goddess Bridget and later the Christian Saint Bridget since pre-Christian times. The flame was extinguished in the 16th century during the suppression of monasteries, but relit in 1993 and has been burning ever since. And Christian scriptures often represent the Holy Spirit as the eternal flame. And in many countries around the world, eternal flames are used at the site of important national monuments. In the United States, perhaps the most important of these is the eternal flame in honor of both John F. Kennedy and the Tomb of the Unknown Soldiers at Arlington National Cemetery. Now, I start my sermon with this brief and necessarily incomplete account of eternal flames. If you're interested in more, there's a whole Wikipedia article on eternal flames around the world. But I want to make a point. The eternal flame is a motif that many cultures embrace. So when I talk about the flame that won't go out during the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, the festival of lights, you'll understand why I believe there is a lesson there for everyone, whether you're Jewish or not. In short, the Hebrew word Hanukkah means dedication, and the holiday commemorates the rededication of the Jewish temple in 164 BCE after its capture and desecration by the Greeks. But the story is, of course, more complicated than that. In 200 BCE, the Greek army captured the city of Jerusalem, and though relations between the Greeks and the Jews were initially cordial, as Alexander the Great's presence in the city was very popular, soon the Greeks began passing more and more oppressive laws against the Jews. Eventually, the situation in Jerusalem became intolerable, and though some continued to support the Greek Empire, a group of Jews rose up to oppose both Greek rule and the Greekification of Jewish life and culture. Opposing them were the Maccabees, a group of Jewish rebel warriors under the command of a man named Judah. The story goes that in 164 BCE, the Maccabees found themselves under siege from the Greek army, but were able to recapture the temple, killing or sending away priests who served the Greeks and smashing a statue of Zeus. Now, the Maccabees found themselves with a dilemma. If they wanted to get temple worship going again, they needed to light the menorah, a small candelabra that was holy to the temple. However, by Jewish law, only specially prepared olive oil could be used to light the temple menorah. But there was only enough of that special consecrated oil left to light the candles for one day, and it would take at least 8 days to make more. What could they do? They used the little oil they found and they lit the menorah. But to their surprise, the flame didn't go out. Somehow, it lasted long enough to keep the menorah lit until they were able to create another batch of oil. For 8 days, the menorah burned on a day's worth of oil. Today, Hanukkah celebrations honor the 8 days when the menorah stayed miraculously lit. Through observance of the holiday, Jews celebrate the spirit of their people, since the rededication of the temple is seen as the definitive victory of their nation over the Greeks, as well as the end of the war. What is apparent not just in the Hanukkah mythos, but also in other eternal flame myths, is the idea that the flame is miraculous. And though fire can be a very destructive element, it can be extremely fickle as well. A spark from an electrical wire can either start a house fire or it can go out right away. You never know. A little bit of wind can fan some flames or put them out. And water is fire's worst enemy, unless it's an oil fire. Don't ever put an oil fire out with water. I don't want to see you on YouTube. When they meet, it's only a matter of time until the fire goes out. But more than that, fire needs fuel in order to continue burning. The reason wildfires are so hard to put out is because they have a nearly infinite supply of fuel to keep them going. Indeed, most of the naturally occurring eternal flames in the world that I found in my research have a never-ending supply of fuel, often supplied by hidden deposits of natural gas. But when that flame is taken away, when that fuel is taken away, the flame will die down pretty quickly. So the best word to describe eternal flames, especially those like the Hanukkah myth, I do believe, is miracle. We'll say more about that in a minute, but it's a miracle that such a flame could keep going, that despite the odds of the flame going out within a day, somehow it kept going until the Maccabees were able to create a more sustainable supply of oil. Applied more broadly, the Hanukkah flame, as well as other eternal flames, represent an element of life that refuses to go out, something whose fuel, no matter how inadequate it may seem, is able to persevere through the elements and defy the odds. Eternal flames, in short, are so popular, I think, in world mythos because, in the words of Albert Schweitzer, at times our own light goes out, and we need more fuel to keep us going, and it helps to think that our lights will find a way to be rekindled again. We take time to honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that all are interconnected and that what affects one affects us all. Elliot shares that he competed in a recent chess tournament and his rating increased 80 points. Michael shares that he's grateful for the community of small groups at Horizon, especially Horizon Pagans. Carmen, our pianist, shares that her husband Lloyd is doing very well after a successful surgery to remove a squamous cell carcinoma last week. Jamie Peace shares that her stepmom's brother passed away yesterday due to complications from a car accident. Sarah and Rusty share that a past neighbor, Deanna, died unexpectedly following a fall in an accident. Her family is probably hurting from this loss. And we light one more candle this morning to honor all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts. Please join me in the spirit of prayer or meditation in whatever way feels right with these words from Lorenzo Bassman. After the reading, we'll have a space of silence, which will be broken by our responsive hymn, number 184 in the gray hymnal, BA Lamps Unto Yourself. We honor the great mystery of the universe, the source of all, which deems everything sacred by its power to unite us and gives us the radiance that we bring forth together as we kindle the Hanukkah lights. We celebrate the spirit of life, wellspring of all that we perceive and imagine, as we look upon with reverence the wondrous great fortune which has been bestowed on our ancestors throughout antiquity. We cherish the wonder of each thing, the order of the universe that binds us together with all of nature, for giving us life, for sustaining us, and for enabling us to reach this season. Blessed be.
Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me.
This month, our theme at Horizon is mystery, and by definition, a miracle such as the Hanukkah menorah is a mystery because we don't understand how it happens. Things credited as miracles are those that we may want to know how they came to be, but we don't know how. The evidence of our senses tells us that they are the way we perceive them, but how? As St. Augustine puts it, miracles are not contrary to nature. They are only contrary to what we know about nature. Now, some miracles we learn more about when we age. When I was a kid, everything seemed very miraculous. You turn the light on? It's a miracle. I always had questions as a kid about science and history and philosophy because my mind was trying to figure out how the world worked. Many, if not most, children go through this phase when all they have is questions. For me, it was often about dinosaurs. How could something have happened in the past of which we have evidence, but not be in existence any longer? Why weren't there any dinosaurs any longer, despite the fact that we know there once were? Over the years, many of my questions have been answered, but not all. After all, we think we know why the dinosaurs disappeared, but we may never have the complete picture, because there are no people who were around then and no dinosaurs whom we can ask about it. There will always be a little bit of mystery in the world, no matter how hard we look for the answers. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. After all, a world without mystery is one where we think we have all the answers, where there is nothing new to learn in the world, where everything is predictable because we know exactly what to look for. Sounds like a pretty boring world to me. Mystery invites meaning. In the mystery of the dinosaurs, the meaning is that humans are but one part of one age of the world, and that we were not always the dominant species. For me, this meaning gives me a little humility, reminding me that my place in the universe is not guaranteed. When I make meaning of this mystery, the miracle that something, let alone giant lizards, died millions of years before my most distant human ancestor was even a speck of the web of life. For Jewish people, for thousands of years, the meaning behind the Hanukkah flame is that God had not abandoned the Jewish people, that there will always be a way in even the most difficult of times. For the ancient Jews, they could have given up the temple, assimilated, and simply become a distant colony of the Greek Empire. But they believed that there was something better for them than simply taking the scraps that Athens had to offer. After the fight, there was enough oil to light the menorah, a miracle for people who fought so hard to make it through the tough days of occupation. Hanukkah sparks hope for many, a reminder that no matter how dire things look, there will always be a way through if we're willing to persevere. If we think of the metaphor of the spark of life as the essence of humans, the eternal flame is an apt symbol for the way we can push through even when we feel like there's not a way to make it. There are times in each of our lives when it would be easy to give up, to just decide that what's going on isn't worth the hard work it will take to make it happen. But then we find enough oil to keep us lit more than we thought possible. The myth lives on in us because our faithfulness leads to hope. Indian statesman APJ Abdul Kalam once said, "Never stop fighting until you arrive at your destined place. That is the unique you. Have an aim in life. Continuously acquire knowledge, work hard, and have perseverance to realize the great life. Nothing important, my friends, comes without struggle. And there will be times when we'll wonder if it's worth it to go on. But by being faithful to ourselves, to the way we know we must live, there will be enough oil to keep us lit." But there's another lesson here. I notice the Hanukkah story doesn't say that the Maccabees just continue to rest on that single day of oil and assume that God can do anything. God will just keep it burning in perpetuity. They demonstrated the wisdom of the old cliche, God helps those who help themselves. And rather than tempting God's grace, they immediately went to work making more oil. The message is clear to me. During the days when we aren't tired by circumstance, that is the time to build up the reserves that will help us persevere through the difficult days. Where are you in the story? Are you struggling to retake the temple of your life? Are you living in a moment of grace when your flame is burning longer than you thought it would? Are you at the point where you're ready to build up your reserves so that you can make it through the next challenge you find in your life? What I want you to take away from Hanukkah, regardless of your theology, is that this moment, there is something to do to make it through to the next stage in life. That's my mission to you this holiday season. Find what is that your life needs from you right now and move towards it. I would be remiss if I didn't say that this Hanukkah in particular is hard for many people of Jewish descent, that they're struggling to find their way in the world and to see the hope on the other side. They're not alone in this. There's a lot of bad news in the world, and I daily hear people worrying about what will happen in the next few years. But this is my belief, friends, that if we are willing to build up our oil, we will be able to make it through. Maybe that's naive of me, but I'm happy to be a little naive on days like this, because I think sometimes we need a little hope to make us through. Chinese leader Sun Yat-sen once said that the key to success is action, and the essential in action is perseverance. Wherever you are on your journey, make sure your action helps you persevere through the tough times. And maybe the meaning of the mystery of your life will be that, like the Jews, the light of your own life won't go out as long as you're willing to be faithful to the path that you have chosen. May it be so.
We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I would like to invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 223 in the gray hymnal, Rock of Ages, Let Our Song.
Our benediction is by Darcy Roick. This Hanukkah, there is too much hardship in the world to not find joy every day. There is too much injustice in this world to not right the balance every day. There is too much pain in this world to not heal every day. Each of us ministers to a weary world. Let us go forth now and do that which calls us to make the world more loving, more compassionate, more filled with the grace of divine presence every day. Amen. Blessed be, and go in peace.